Hey guys, this is Lex, and welcome to another episode of Lipstick and Liberation, a podcast where I, a 41-year-old feminist, talk about my viewpoints on different current events, political issues, and things that are happening throughout the world, and try to share with you guys some hope for a future, maybe one day, where we can all legitimately be free and not under these various forms of oppression that are keeping us all from living our most happy and healthy and fulfilled lives. I thank you guys for coming back again this week. As I always say, so with misogyny as with my lipstick, I always get the shade right. This week, I am talking about a movie I literally just walked out of the theater from seeing, guys, and it was so amazing. I finally got around to seeing Obsession. It was such a beautiful horror film, and it really drove home for me what I love about horror movies. So many people think horror movies are just slasher, but really, horror is an opportunity to explore the human condition and put it in a way where we can see things, see certain issues, and see certain experiences we have in a new light, sometimes in a light that makes it come across to us in a different way because it taps into our fears. And I think this movie totally did that with the idea of relationships and crushes. And there was so much here, but even with misogyny and women being people, women having autonomy, toxic male friendships. There's so much. If you have not seen this movie yet, I definitely want to recommend that one, you do go and see it. It's very excellent. But two, I would definitely steer clear of this podcast episode. I don't want to spoil it. I think it's a very great movie that you should go into and get that first time experience not knowing what's going on. I went with a friend tonight, and I'm glad that I did because it was very creepy. Like, I'm just so blown away by the performances. The director is definitely going places. Whoever wrote this, like, it's a Blumhouse production, or Blumhouse, excuse me. I'll really have to do more of a read up on the director and the writer and everything when episode is over. But I just really wanted to get my reaction out tonight before I went to bed. Yeah, totally blown away. The story is about a guy, and his name is Bear. And I think we all know that that's in relation to women saying that they would choose the bear. Recently, in those discussions we were having about the safety with men, and that's our main character here. And he has a crush on one of his coworkers, Nikki. And so his friends are encouraging him to tell Nikki how he feels about her, but he can't. And Bear is really he's a little awkward. He's a very awkward and strange guy. He lives at home by himself with his cat, and he really just can't tell Nikki how he feels. And you know what? I think that in some ways that's very relatable for a lot of us. I was very awkward with crushes when I was younger. I have ADHD. So when I have a crush on somebody, I hyperfixate on them. They become like an obsession, which is the title of the movie here. And it can be scary to tell somebody how you feel about them. It truly can be. But, you know, at my age, me being 41, I'm not as scared anymore. So, like, seeing this guy, Bear, I'm guessing these guys are in their late 20s, maybe early 30s. It was hard for me to empathize with the fact that he could not tell her how he felt about her. It just really was. Even as somebody, like I said, who has always been a little bit awkward about crushes, not anymore. But yeah, I struggled with that in the movie. And that kind of made me respect him less as a man. I don't know if that's kind of messed up, but it did. It really did. I'm like, why can't you just tell her how you feel? And that kind of plays into some of the stuff that happens because he keeps saying he's going to get up the courage to tell her, and she's leaving where they're working together at. So she's not going to be there much longer. And his friend, Ian, he is encouraging him, go ahead and tell her, go ahead and tell her. So at the end of a night out, they go to trivia together. He drives her home and she asks him flat out, like, hey, do you like me? And he says no. He tells her he doesn't. Now, before this, she had dropped a necklace down the drain. And so he had gone to the store to purchase her a new one because he's got this crush on her and he wants to, win her favor somehow. So instead of getting that, he found this thing called a One Wish Willow and he purchased it. And basically it says if, you can make one wish with it. And so when she gets out the car after he tells her that, he doesn't have feelings for her, which is untrue, he just takes out this One Wish Willow and he snaps it in half. And he basically says he wants her to love him more than anything she's ever loved immediately. immediately, guys, this wish takes hold. And we start to see the story like happening. And God, this is so hard for me to talk about because immediately after that wish started, I was like holding my necklace the entire movie. Like I was so tense because I felt the change. It was, you could see it. Like she went from being this vivacious and interesting and beautiful girl who we were like just getting to know. And this is one of the things I really feel bad about in the movie is that we didn't get that much time with her before he made this wish. So once she makes this wish, she becomes obsessed with him. And because she becomes obsessed with him, it gets real creepy really quickly. She goes home with him. She's staying with him. All the coworkers notice they are like smashed together like peanut butter and jelly all the time. And her entire existence is about him. But she also starts doing creepy stuff. At the beginning, his cat dies. And so she like digs up his cat and like builds an altar to him. Like the cat. And it like freaks him out. And it's weird because he should be more freaked out about how suddenly she's in love with him. The movie is so claustrophobic, guys. Like a lot of it just takes place in his bedroom and his apartment and the store. It's very close, very tightly shot. And you just feel this constant dread while you're watching it. And I've heard people say that they felt bad for Bear. Guys, I hated Bear the entire movie because, and I don't know if I'm watching this as a woman, but watching Nikki lose her autonomy and becomes this person that was all consumed by Bear was so suffocating as a woman to watch. It was terrifying. And she literally only existed to please him. When he tried to leave to go to work, she like duct taped the door shut. And when he left her, she just was standing there smiling, like this crazy smile. And she did not move. She pissed the floor. She defecated on the floor because while he was going to work, she didn't exist. She had to wait for him to come back to like exist. And these creepy moments keep happening. And even while this stuff is happening, Bear is still trying to make this relationship work. And for me, what that was talking about is like ownership. He didn't really care about Nikki. This is what like I got overall from the movie. He did not care about her. He wanted to possess her and he wanted to have her. And even as she's doing increasingly creepy and more disturbing things, I mean, guys, it gets super crazy. I don't want to spoil all of it, but it gets really crazy. And he's still trying to figure out, how can I make it work? I just got to make it work. Hey, Nikki, can you stop? Like, she makes him a cat, guys. She takes his dead cat and makes a sandwich out of it and sends him to work the sandwich. And he comes home. He's not like, all right, I got to fix this problem. He's like, hey, everything's great. Could you just not put cat in my sandwich? That is how obsessed this man is with possessing Nikki. And it's not really her. There are moments where she becomes like the real her kind of peeks out and tells him, I don't like this. I don't like being obsessed with you. Please kill me. Like she comes out and tells him that. And he refuses. He's like, at one point, well, what's so bad about being with me? Hello. She doesn't want to be with you. The fact that it did not matter to him, that she did not really want to be with him. Like, that is so mind blowing. Even when you think about it, because I think we've all had crushes. I think we've all had people that we really wanted and we really wanted to be with. And we would wish that they would want us in the same way. But then you do have to question, is that really them? Is that really them? Do you really want them as a person? Like this person that you're wishing for and hoping for, do you really want them? You don't really know them. That's kind of what's crazy about a crush. You don't really know the person you have a crush on. You have an idea about them and you want them so bad. You've created this perfect person in your mind and you just want to be near them. You just want to be upon them. And so watching him get Nikki and see that he really didn't care about her in actuality. He did not care. She is saying to him, I don't want to be here. He just cared about possessing her. And as the film goes on, guys, like you just get more and more frustrated because like I said, she keeps doing more and more weird things and people are telling him like, this is not a healthy relationship, dude, but he doesn't care. He even calls to try to undo the wish at one point, but he doesn't want to undo it totally, guys. He wants to alter it so he can still keep her, but just not have her doing weird things. He never even grasps the lesson here throughout the entire movie as all this stuff is happening. And I think that's a lesson that we all need to have about relationships and love. As much as we want to be with certain people, as much as we want to be close to certain people, it has to be real. It has to be them. They have to want it too. You can have a crush on somebody. You can really want to be with somebody, but if they don't want to be with you too, then is it really worth it? Like, is it really something that's worth having if it's not reflected back to you? Because at that point, it is about possessing the person. You don't really care about what that person wants if you want them to be with you, regardless of if they're happy. And that's what Bear wanted. He just wanted Nikki to be with him. He didn't care how messy it was or that she didn't want it. And in that way, he ended up SAing her because he's having sexual relationship with a person that he knows does not want to be with him. You know, whatever that happened to her when he made that wish, it's like something came over her, another personality that was obsessed with him. But at times, like I said, Nikki's real personality comes out. And she specifically tells him, I don't like this. And there's times later on where she's doing all this weird stuff where he gets mad because she's not the real Nikki. Well, you made her not the real Nikki. You took away the real Nikki so you could possess whatever this version of her is, the one that you designed for her, the one that you needed her to be with you. It's, wow. Guys, it's just such a layered film. And there was another portion of it where, you know, at one point, the girl who actually likes Bear, there's a girl named Sarah, and she actually does like Bear and want to be with him. She tells Bear that Ian, who had been egging him on to tell Nikki how he feels about her, had been sleeping with Nikki the entire time, on and off. So he knew that Nikki didn't really like Bear. And so he was egging him on to tell her how he felt, basically so he could embarrass him. Like, there is a time where Ian confronts Bear about, because all of a sudden now Nikki's in love with him. Boom, she's in love with him. And he confronts him about it. And you actually think that Ian might actually care about Bear and his safety. But then you realize that the reason that Ian is suspicious is because he's been having this hookup with Nikki behind Bear's back while he's egging Bear along to tell her how he feels. And he thinks that Nikki is pretending to be in love with Bear to get back at him. So he's creeped out by Nikki's behavior for a completely other reason. Like, completely other. He doesn't believe Bear when Bear finally does come to him and tells him that, you know, I've got this wish and that's why Nikki's acting like this, because now Bear's trying to undo it. Finally, Nikki does something that pushes it over the edge for him and he wants to end this somehow, but they tell him the only way to end it is basically he has to go. He's too selfish for that. And like I said, in his own way, he does like possessing Nikki. So he doesn't really want to die and set her free. He just wants her to stop being weird. He's cool with everything else. Cool with us saying her. Cool with the fact that she did not choose to be with him, that he put this in motion. He just wants her to stop being weird. So he tries to get Ian to undo the wish for him finally, because he's at this place where he's like, this is not the real Nikki anymore. So he doesn't really love this thing that he's created. But Ian doesn't believe him. So Ian wishes for $1 billion instead. And he gets that. Well, then at that point, Bear feels defeated. He goes home and he ends up deciding that he needs to unalive himself. He's ready to do it. So he goes in the bathroom and he takes a bunch of pills, the pills that his cat got into earlier that killed him. And he unalives himself. He kills himself. And Nikki starts freaking out when she notices that he's dying. And she almost unalives herself. But then the spell ends and she wakes up. And what was so poignant about this, especially to me as a domestic violence survivor, is seeing that Nikki is going to have to live with the aftermath of Bear's decisions. Bear imprisoned Nikki in this spell where she was in love with him. And she's committed murder. She's done a lot of sick stuff because of this possession that she had. So now Bear, he got what he wanted. He got to be with Nikki for however long till it wasn't cool with him anymore. Now he's taking himself out the game. He's gone. And she's going to be the person, she killed these people. So she's going to go down for this stuff. And nobody's going to believe her that the reason that all this stuff happened is some guy made a wish that she would be in love with him. She's basically stuck with the aftermath of his choices. He stole her autonomy and she's stuck with she was there when he was saying her. She was there in the like. It's kind of like the sunken place in Get Out. So she experienced and saw all the things that this person, part of her that was obsessed with him, was doing, and she has to live with all that. Not only does she have to live with it, as in the sense of she'll have to live with the crimes, but she also has to live with the trauma of what she's been through. And everybody else is gone now. It's just her. She will have to live with this trauma, and it's really sad. It really broke my heart. Like, the movie, you wanted to end. Like, I wanted Bear to kill himself. I did. I hated him and I wanted him gone. And then when he does, I realized the wish is over, but things are not better for Nikki. In the end, Nikki's still suffering, and she didn't do anything. She literally didn't do anything. She hooked up with some guy, Ian, from work. This other guy had a crush on her, and he took away her free will and her autonomy. And that caused her to do all these terrible things. And now she's going to spend the rest of her life probably in jail or a psychiatric hospital paying for these choices that he made for her. And yeah, I cannot tell you guys like how devastated I was when I walked out that theater, just understanding that nobody was good in this movie. Nikki and Sarah are probably the only decent people in this movie. And they're around a couple of creeps. Ian was a creep and Bear was a creep. And their lives were negatively impacted in such severe ways because of that. So yeah, it's so much. Like, I still feel so emotional about that. And like I said, that's just a testament to how great the film is that I was on the edge of my seat literally from the moment the wish was made. And then at the end, even when it was resolved, it really wasn't a happy ending for Nikki. There was no happy ending there. She's still going to go on and suffer. So just kudos to the writer and the director. What an effective horror film. It was so great. Like I said, I really cannot say enough about what they were able to do. You would think, like, even going in, when people were saying it was great, I'm like, how can a movie about a guy having a girl obsessed with him really be scary? What can they do with that concept? And just the way that they played with autonomy loss and trauma from autonomy loss, and the way that they played with the men actually like not being friends, and how they basically set this cycle of BS into motion. Unreal. Just wow. I love, Donald Trump's presidencies are always terrible, but we get the best horror films when he's president. I don't know why. Like, we got Get Out the first time, we get Sinners, we get Obsession, we got Weapons. Like, I don't know why, but we are getting fed as far as horror. So kudos to the cast of Obsession. Like I said, I'm going to find out more about the writer and stuff after this, because I'm really intrigued to see more of the person's work. Because, I mean, the way they were able to take this subject matter and make such a layered and creepy horror film, like genuinely creepy and unsettling, something as common as, like I said, this is what's so beautiful about horror, something as common as having a crush on somebody and wanting them for yourself, really wanting to be with them, wanting to have them on your terms, but not understanding what wanting to have somebody on your terms means, as far as like, they may not be the crush, the fantasy of that person. They may not want you, and in them not wanting you, but you wanting them and you demanding to have them, you're taking away their autonomy. Like, and yeah, it just, yeah, like I said, I'm so speechless because it was so good, indescribable. So I hope you didn't listen to this and you haven't seen it, because I would want you to go in with a fresh experience, not knowing anything and getting that from this. But this is just such an excellent film. And it really gave me so much to think about. I'm sure I'll be thinking about it from days from now. But it just was important for me to get this episode out with my initial raw reaction. So yeah, I hope you guys saw it. If you did see it and you want to talk to me about it, I would love to have a discussion about this with you guys. So definitely message me, hit me up, leave comments wherever you may see this posted. I would love to discuss it. And I just want to thank you guys once again for tuning in. I'm glad I was able to make a episode that was a little bit more lighthearted this week. A lot of stuff has been so heavy for women lately. So I have a lot of gratitude that at least this movie allowed me to see something and experience something and it was entertainment, but it was still like emotional and effective and beautiful. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week and a wonderful Memorial Day, and I can't wait to get back with you guys with something else. See you soon.